Good afternoon. Unfortunately, guys, our CEO, Dev Randhawa, cannot be with us today. He had some personal business that he had to take care of, so he won't be here this week. So I'm going to just take you through the presentation, and thank goodness we had Ray Ashley take the red eye last night, and he's going to answer any technical questions that you guys might have about the discovery. As we know, the Russia-Ukraine conflict has changed the landscape of energy. Everything has gone up in the last year. Gas, gasoline, energy costs have basically doubled around the world, and we're certainly looking at governments having ways to find other possible ways to energize their systems. That brings us to nuclear. Several countries around the world are building new ones, proposing new reactors. We've got Japan that has put a proposal in December to go back to building new nuclear reactors, and they're restarting all of the ones that they've put on hold for the last little while. We've also got SMRs, which are small modular reactors, and those are getting a whole bunch of interest too, so we could have those coming out. So I'm just going to flip through here. There's where we are right now. We're definitely in a world energy crisis, and certainly nuclear is going to make a difference in that, which brings us to uranium. You've certainly heard that we've got a shortfall, a uranium shortfall. I'd probably say a production shortfall, and we're 190 million pounds of uranium is used every year, and we're producing 130. So we need to catch up, need to produce more. F3 was basically the third element of fission uranium. Dev started it in his garage, Strathmore Minerals, in 1966. And it's gone through a whole bunch of different mergers and acquisitions. And right now we're at the very bottom there, F3. We have 16 projects in the Athabasca basin. Obviously, we're looking at the JR zone now, which has been our discovery, which was November of last year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Ray take you through where we're at right now, what our winter program looks like, and what we're going to do down the road. All yours.
Thank you. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, my name's Raymond Ashley. I'm the VP Exploration of F3. I'm going to try and do this just to advance to a slide that really I like to start with, which is at the end of the presentation. So I'll see if I can get there, right to the end. There it is. Okay. Right there. So F3 is a uranium exploration company, and we're focused in the Athabasca basin. And what you see here are those green properties are F3's 16 properties. In 2022, we've held those properties for a long time. The team, the exploration team at F3, most of them were around in 2008 and were there for the discovery of the J zone in 2010 over on this east side. That was sold to Denison, as Jamie just said. Then the fission uranium, which was the second fission, made the Triple R discovery at Patterson Lake South, and that was in 2012. That the Triple R deposit has just completed its feasibility study, 135 million pounds of uranium, and now in November 2022, which is 10 years after the Triple R discovery, we made the discovery of the JR zone, which is right right there, 25 kilometers northwest of Triple R, and Arrow. So that's where we came from. In 2022, we had a really busy year. We drilled on part of the PLN property, the Hardy Bay property that Traction is earning into the Hardy Bay property, that's up there. We drilled at Lazy Edward Bay down there, Murphy Lake, where we had some interesting results. And in November, we went back to drill what we call the A1 conductor at PLS. And so it was in November that we made that discovery. So now that's who we are, and that's how we got to the new, it's the newest high-grade uranium discovery in the Athabasca Basin. And we're awfully excited about it. So now I'll just watch my time and just talk to you really about the JR zone. So there it is. There's the PLN property. It's roughly a 1 million acre property. It's been held by the company for a long time. We've drilled there in 2014, 2019, on that, what we call the A1 conductor. The JR zone is on what we originally called the A1 conductor, and we drilled there in November. So where it's located is 25 kilometers northwest of Triple R and Arrow, and the Highway 955 goes through it. So this just shows you the discovery hole November 21st. Compared to other discovery holes, I mean, you know, that's in a way just a random place that you put the first hole into it, but it was a beautiful discovery. The handheld spectrometer is sitting on top of the 1 meter of 59.2% uranium in the middle of our 15 meter wide zone. This is the discovery drill core, and the laboratory assay from that first hole, 6.97% uranium over 15 meters with 5.5 meters, 18.6% in the middle, and that high grade 59%. So this just shows you, that's the discovery, that's the discovery hole. And you can see a diamond drill behind drilling a down dip hole. And what's that is a sonic drill, which is very unusual to use, really, I think, for diamond drilling, for drilling off a uranium deposit. The reason that's there is so we could drill shallow angled holes and that they could be straight. A diamond drills, this is horrible overburden here. It's 120 meters vertically of sand, flowing sand. Diamond drills casing, they have trouble casing. Their casing breaks all the time. We know this from the past. So this year we brought a sonic drill to bear because we wanted to drill shallow angled holes, and because a diamond drill could only drill 75-degree dipping holes. That was expensive at first, but it's worked extremely well. Our holes are straight. We're able to put them where we need to put them. So there, this is okay, so that's the A1 conductor. It's 3.5 kilometers long. We drilled here at the beginning of the year and there. The green lines are conductors. They're just defined by airborne EM surveys, and really they're defining shear zones with graphitic shear zones. That's all these EM surveys define. We know that the fluids that bring in these high-grade uranium deposits travel along big structures, and EM is just a way to locate these structures. So we started drilling at the south end of this conductor in 2014. And we drilled from the north to the south. And so that's in the middle, you know, that's 800 meters from the north end. It goes 2.5 kilometers southward. So these are the old holes. In 2014, we got a sniff of uranium in that hole, 1419, the 19th hole in 2014. 0.05% uranium over 0.5 meter. So it's not very much uranium, but the drilling showed us that there was large volumes of hydrothermal fluids going through the rock, causing great alteration to the wall rock. It was a beautiful shear zone. The pathfinder elements were there that accompany high-grade uranium. That's why we thought this was one of the best targets of all of our properties, that there really stood to be high-grade uranium along here. So in 2019, we drilled all these follow-up holes around that sniff of uranium, but never hit any radioactivity, never hit any mineralization. but we still were convinced that this is was a very prospective target. So we reviewed all of the data in the downturn, but we, F3 was managed to keep its team together, which is a big critical part of this team of people that can keep working together. What we recognized was all the signs for high-grade uranium were improving towards the north. And so what we realized is that northern 800 meters of the conductor was untested. So we defined that with ground geophysics, which is what we do, pin down the conductor, which is the shear zone, look for alteration with ground resistivity. We pinned all that down, and 1 hole, 2 hole, third hole of the program was the discovery hole. Yeah, we drilled it. That's really close to the end of the A1 conductor. Geophysicists that I've worked with for a long time, it's something that is in my mind. The end of a conductor is a good place to look, because often it is the end of it because there's a cross structure there. So we don't know, I don't personally know exactly why the fluids that are bringing this uranium, why it is that the deposit starts to form and precipitate in one place. Haven't quite got to the bottom of that, but flexures and cross structures, those are things where there could be a change in the pH or changes in the pressure regime, and that's what maybe causes the precipitation to start. But it's just empirically, where there's a cross structure is a good place to look, and that's really how that hole was targeted, the discovery hole. So now what you're looking at is the picture as of the last press release. So the discovery hole is number 35 there. In November, what we did was we drilled these other holes in November, following up. So what you see is a 15-meter grid. We established a 15-meter grid, and we started right away once we hit that discovery hole to drill up and down dip on section line 0, we called it, and so then 15 meters north and south. So we drilled up and down dip on that section to try and understand, does the mineralization, where does it get stronger? Does it get stronger up towards the unconformity? And what's the orientation and geometry of it? So that the first step was to get a handle on this new discovery. It's beautiful, high-grade uranium, but now the thing is, how do you follow it? What is its geometry? So what I'll take you through now is cross sections. And so they're slices, right? The vertical slices. And we'll start with line 0, where we have the most information, the most drill holes, because that's where we were first trying to get a handle on it before stepping outwards. And then just tell you where we're at, and where I think we're headed. So this is actually the discovery hole itself. Just to speak quickly to that, you'll see that we're able to drill shallow angled holes, and that's because of the sonic drill. The sonic drill does all of this, and it's very straight. The diamond drill takes over here and drills this part. There's the discovery. 25 meters below the unconformity, that's 120 meters of horrible overburden, 60 meters of sand. So it's in the basement, but not far below the unconformity. So now you see this same section as the discovery hole. There's the discovery hole with all of the other holes on this section now. So you can see that mineralization is basically defined from there to there. On the most up-dip hole, there's still mineralization. It's not greater than 10,000 counts. It's not high grade. We really were thinking to test for unconformity, flat-lying unconformity mineralization there, but it wasn't getting stronger towards the unconformity. So there's a high-grade core. It goes basically 45 meters this way. There was no mineralization in that hole. So it doesn't say that there's not more mineralization down the structure. That is the A1 main shear zone. The mineralization is contained within that shear zone. And so right now it's defined 45 meters up and down dip. Eventually we're going to go and test to see if it picks back up deeper down in that structure. You see what's strange is that or unusual is that it dips at 50 degrees. Most of the uranium deposits in the basin, that shear zone is a steep thing. And you can see that because we can drill these shallow angled holes, the thicknesses, because that's the rough, in that section, that's roughly the zone. The drill holes are perpendicular to the body, so that the thicknesses we report are close to true thickness. So it's a nice wide zone. So now, once we realized this, the idea was to step out. So you can see now stepping 15 north, the zone goes between those two holes, so it's open to the north, sorry. That you go 15, sorry, what's that? 15 south. You can see there we keep hitting the zone. 30 south. 45, the widest intersection to date. That's a 21-meter intersection of mineralization, which is a good thing. There's a low grade as well as the high grade core, and it's really a good thing to see such a wide intersection. So the mineralization was getting stronger as we were stepping out along strike. And right now we had to keep our eye on the ball, and our market cap is growing, our understanding is growing by growing this zone. And the way to grow it was to follow the high grade core, and that, it means being disciplined. It's very tempting to want to go and drill deep holes down there to see what's down deep. It's tempting to want to go and step, 500 meters along strike and see what's going on. The first thing to do is to grow what we found, and that's what we really have managed to do quite successfully. This is 60 south, and we hit the mineralization again on 60 south. So that's 12 of the 20 holes. So there's 8 more holes in the current winter program. We'll probably release 4 and then 4. So we're continuing with the program. It'll probably end at the end of March. My time's up. This just shows you how, this is arrow and triple R from in plan and in cross section. So it just shows that this is a cross section. So it's flat lying at R00, that there's pods of mineralization, and that these are steeply dipping but plunge. Arrow here is down deep, and it's in vertical shear zones. So we have to keep all this in mind, that the plan when we go forward is to keep growing the zone we've discovered. It's still open in all directions, but it's also to go along strike of that conductor, and to have I think we're going to be doing exploration as well to try and see if there's other pods of mineralization, to step out and do some exploration, but to keep growing the zone. We've had a high hit rate on the drilling so far. I can envisage 20 holes this summer. It was the right scale, I think, of drill holes to step out and grow the deposit. So I think it's gone well. And there you go. You can see even though there's drill holes to the south, certainly the first 800 meters is untested, that northern 800 meters, but there's still potential on the rest of the conductor, because most of our holes are below the depth of the JR mineralization. But as I said, we don't know what will be the orientation of other mineralization further along the conductor. If it's there, we'll certainly be doing exploration to try and look for that as well. So, yeah, some information about the financial summary, which I think you can see.
75 meters right now.
75 meters, yeah. And then, we've continued to grow. As I said, along strike was where we were managing to keep finding the high-grade core, and that's where the mineralization was the strongest. There'll be a news release fairly soon with the next 4 holes. And then we get to stop and review things. There's no ice. Luckily, it's all on land. So we'll just stop, though, for things to dry up so that we don't create ruts. And our current idea is to be back at it with 20 more holes. We're really overjoyed with how well it's gone. We're very happy about the discovery. The team couldn't be happier, and I'm really glad that we continue to be disciplined. But yeah, I'll be pushing exploration. That's who I am. It's fine. We'll keep growing that. We have resource geologists who work for us, but I'll be looking out to see what else there is along that conductor, and to look down dip. Is there another parallel zone? We seem to. It isn't clear how far it's going down dip, but I'm going to be wanting to find a way to test that.